Okay, that's just time for one final letter before I have to go to class. So this is for the OET Study Group for all, or OET Study Group as it's now called. So photograph of a letter again. That's what I've been doing this morning. I keep on saying, do it in text. It's easier for me to add and change things, so I'll just have to do it aloud and you'll have to take note. So, Miss Marjorie Jackson, not sure. You can see that you've spelt it wrong there. Should be Jackson. Okay. I'm writing this letter to request an urgent admission to. Well, right. An urgent admission. Well, you wouldn't use an indefinite article. I know that you can count an admission, but usually you would say the urgent admission of. You wouldn't use admission to. Why would you use to as a preposition? To implies direction or purpose. I'm writing this letter to request either urgent admission for or the urgent admission of, not to Mrs Jackson, whose features are suggestive of depressive psychosis. Your acceptance to her, your acceptance of her would be appreciated. You don't have to say that. You can say that to the bottom of a letter. Don't have to have it here, right? At the bottom, in view of the above, blah, 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 I would appreciate if you could accept her, etc. That's the place for that, not in the opening. So, initially on the 13th of the 11th, Mrs Jackson presented with sleep disordered. Disordered. Why is it a past tense verb? So, don't you need a noun? Presented with what? With sleep disorder, or sleep disorders, or poor sleep, but not sleep disorders. Presented with sleep disorder, loss of energy, I put a comma, and loss of weight. Why is this supposed to be, is this a period or it's a hyphen? She depressed because of her sister death. So, she was depressed because of her sister's genitive, possessive case, because of her sister's death. She has a past history of antenatal depression. So, why do we have, so I don't know if that's supposed to be a full stop or if it's a hyphen, but why do we have right? This is not a paragraph. It's a list of sentences, of simple sentences. You're supposed to join them to make a complex one. She was depressed because of her sister's death, and she has a past history of antenatal depression. So you could join these two sentences. In addition to what? In addition to what? In addition, a comma, she has a family history of depressive illness. Why is this her? So I would be working on general English for a while first before thinking of OET, because you're making very basic English grammatical mistakes here. On examination, there wasn't, don't use contractions, there wasn't any abnormality. So if there was nothing unusual, why mention it? Unless you're going to make something out of it. So I believe that, and why is there a comma? I believe that she experienced, so past tense, so she was experiencing, because you don't usually simply experience it and it's finished. It's a condition, so it's ongoing. I believe that on examination there were no physical abnormalities which led to my diagnosis of a possible reactive or clinical depression. With this in mind, I arranged for counselling with a local social worker. Now, why would you? A social worker is not a psychologist. I don't think so. Are they? Social workers don't they help you out with your kids, or if you've come out of kind of prison or something, and if you need help, they're not a psychologist. So I don't know why you would arrange counselling with a social worker. That's not what social workers do. They don't counsel, do they? Okay. Anyway, so this is a list of sentences. It's not a cohesive paragraph of a letter, so this needs a bit of reworking. And we don't need this, I believe that, comma, you don't. It's only when you're using a discourse marker, in addition, a comma, on examination, but you don't need it for every single sentence, right? Okay. She returned. Now, I usually put the patient's name at the beginning of a paragraph and use a pronoun for every successive use. Mrs Jackson returned on the 22nd with worsening symptoms. A comma. She, or make it semicolon, she was very tearful and more depressed than before. Antidepressant medicine was described. You mean prescribed? Description. So, antidepressant medication, it's some kind of pill. That's a description. You mean it was a prescription. And why is it passive? Didn't you do this? Didn't you perform any action? Right, usually in a visit, a paragraph, you have three components. What the patient presented with, what they said, what you found, what you did. That's what a paragraph for a visit should contain. The patient comes, oh, doctor, I've got a terrible pain, blah, blah, blah. What you examined, what you found, then what action you took. So that's what you need for a paragraph. And if you did it, why is it passive? Why not do it actively? You did it. On review today, Mrs Jackson was brought in by her family due to her worsening condition. What's this? Her condition was worsen. Was worse. It was either had worsened, past perfect, or was worse, simple past. She didn't give any response to, can't read that, something question, can't read that. Mrs Jackson has refused having food as well as medicine for the last few days. I don't know, can't read it either. Mrs Jackson was noticed talking to herself several times. Now she's presenting with dehydration and weight loss. I believe that she has depressive psychosis. Therefore, you're not writing an essay. Your further management would be grateful. Therefore, I would be grateful for your further assessment and management, not would be grateful. Don't put that adverb at the end. And again, this is a list of sentences. It's not a cohesive, coherent paragraph. So I think you need to do a fair bit of work before you. I hope you're not taking the OET exam anytime soon, because there's some very basic mistakes here that you need to work on. I don't mean to be overly harsh, but you did ask. So anyway, I hope that helps. Any questions, you can write in the group.